What's up, kids? David here with Solid X State. Got another vid going on. I'm going to be talking about something that I've touched on before. Something that I have, I think, visited briefly from time to time, but I'm going to try to make it the main point here of this vid. And it is the observation, it is that notion that people are resistant to new ideas. You know, what does that look like maybe on a deeper level? That people are threatened by ideas that challenge their presupposed assumptions about life, about reality, about what's important, if you will. You know, I wonder that if the ideas that we are grafted to as we grow, as we find our way in the world, the ideas that we are grafted to become a kind of neural map. And things that threaten the stability of that neural map, we find to be threatening. Even if those ideas are true, we cling to darkness in the presence of light. We cling to old ways of thinking, even when the new ideas come with verifiable proof. Yet we find it threatening. We are disingenuous in our motivations when we turn away from new ideas because they're other than what we are accustomed to. Ironically, the effect of this propensity, if you will, for people to be static and cling to failed conclusions, this propensity to cling to the old, is something that the scientific community is unfortunately guilty of time and time again. It's kind of a bummer, but that's just kind of how it is, man, when you're a human being. And we try to be, I think we try to be genuine. We try to be professional in how we deal with life. And yet, man, you know, we bring all that baggage to the table. We bring all of that insecurity, if you will. We bring all of that darkness of ourselves, gets brought to the table. And it doesn't necessarily pan out well when it comes to dealing with truth. Truth can be the victim of our own arrogance, our own like I said, presuppositions in which we disregard, arrogantly maybe even disregard. So the scientific community, of course, man, you know, they're on the front lines. So of course, man, they're going to be confronted with change time and time and time again. It's really the premise of the scientific method to have to change, to have to redress issues as we discover new truths, new deductive evidence as regards the world around us. And yet at the same time, this challenge to change our thinking, sometimes I wonder if it is the biggest barrier in the scientific community. If it is that thing that really is at play that has hindered progress time and again. The biggest challenge, therefore, I'm suggesting in science today is not fording the barrier of undiscovered territory. The biggest challenge I am suggesting in this vid, it may be the biggest challenge, is holding at bay the preconceived assumptions and dogmatic assessments whereby deductive evidence is forced to yield to the worldview of men who seek to validate their own empirical conclusions rather than follow a new line of thinking. Clearly, every leap forward in the sciences involves discarding old assumptions, which could no longer endure the light of proof. It seems that there's a problem at play in our civic discussion, in our academic discussion, if you will. It seems that there is a problem at play, and it is not a lack of evidence. It is not a lack of information. The problem that seems to be at play time and again is us. We are the problem. The problem is us because we are disingenuous as regards our motivations. When we don't like what the evidence is telling us. How far afield are we willing to wander to defend our failed presuppositions and ideas? How far afield are we willing to wander? In the Gospel of John, chapter 3, verse 19, it says, "This is the judgment, that light has come into the world, but men have loved darkness instead of the light because their deeds were evil." You know, what does that have to do with science in this day and age? What does that have to do with anything? The problem is that the point is that the problem is in us. We are disingenuous. Our motivations, we are not honest about what motivates us. And so we prefer the safety of our own corruption. Because it is threatening to deal with something new. It is threatening to embrace the truth. It involves, you have to have some courage. Because it means leaving behind what you're familiar with, maybe even where your securities lie. It takes courage. It takes honesty. Being honest about what is motivating us. Thinking about yourself. Looking in the mirror, if you will. And being honest about what's spilling out of your lips. What's driving your decisions. All right, man. That's the vid. God bless. Take care. See you guys next time.